Imagine playing Stardew Valley, but every single day your energy is completely random and you aren't allowed to increase it at all. That's exactly the challenge I am doing in this video. Hello everyone, my name's Extreme and today my goal is to complete the entire community center within 100 days using only the random amount of energy I wake up with each morning, which means every day I am forced to choose my tasks carefully. Between hoeing, watering, fishing, mining and chopping, gathering energy in any form is banned. No food, no spa, nothing. So let's see how my one single brain cell handles a full community center checklist with energy that can range from full bar to you can water 2 tiles and pass out. Welcome to the third challenge of randomized Stardew Valley Energy Edition, and without any further ado, let's dive straight into the challenge. I started by creating my character and named the farm Limited Energy, picked this cat and went with the forest farm. Now you might be wondering why I chose the forest farm. I never played on it before. Yep, that's literally the only reason. So I began the challenge with only 44 energy. Definitely not a good start. I bought a potato, cauliflower and green bean seed. Each crop costs 4 energy to grow, 2 for tiling, 2 for watering. I also planted 6 parsnip seeds and with just 8 energy left, I spent the whole day collecting and selling forageables. Also, first limitation of the challenge, I can't make a chest, not yet. On day 2, I woke up with a little more energy, 57, but still very low. And remember, every plant on the farm requires 2 energy per day to maintain, so just watering my 9 plants already cost me 18 energy. Then I grabbed the fishing rod, but obviously couldn't afford to fish yet since each cast takes 8 energy, way too expensive right now. Honestly, I should have picked it up later because I was already having inventory issues. I used the rest of my energy chopping a tree and got 19 wood, and don't worry, I was making sure to use every last bit of energy before sleeping since energy is random anyway. I sold a stuffing I found in a trash can and ended the day with 407 gold. Day 3 gave me 83 energy, not amazing, but it was raining so at least I didn't have to water anything. And one plus point of the forest farm is that you get forageables spawning on the farm itself like this. So I spent the day collecting wood and finally crafted a chest. Then I planted the rest of the parsnip seeds since no watering was needed today. On day 4 I woke up with only 25 energy. Yeah, not even close to enough to water everything. So I spent the day hunting forageables and trash and ended it with 117 gold. Day 5 finally gave me a real energy bar, 229. I did so many tasks that day. Harvested parsnips, watered the plants, sold the parsnips, read the tile in the community center, collected the sword, planted 10 kale seeds and finally went to the mines. Now let me break down the mining situation. See, these 2 types of stones, they take 2 hits to break, but every other stone takes just 1, obviously except this one. So I'll be avoiding those 2 double hit stones. My priority will always be kill monsters first, then break stones. But I have to be careful since I'm not allowed to regain health at all. No eating. Day 6 rained again, but I only had 33 energy. I crafted a furnace, then something unexpected happened. To read the Junimo language, the wizard gives you a drink, and that drink restores energy, which I wasn't allowed to gain. So I decided not to use any energy that day. Thanks, wizard. There's a meme in the community, right, that this guy is Abigail's real father. Anyway, I completed the spring foraging bundle and went to sleep. Day 7 gave me 220 energy. I harvested the parsnips and potato, but I gave the potato to Penny, obviously for the money, not for something else. I completed a quest for Robin, checked the traveling merchant. She had truffles and a duck feather. Couldn't afford the truffles, but I did buy the duck feather. Then I planted another potato seed and did a lot of fishing in the river, ocean and lake. Sold what I didn't need and ended the day with 692 gold. That's the end of week 1. Alright, let's speed up a little, you get the idea. On day 8 with 73 energy, I planted 10 kale seeds but failed my mining attempt. Couldn't get past floor 13 and had to slow walk home. Day 9 was even worse. I woke up with 20 energy and accidentally got sluggish again. Had to spend the whole day like that. Dropped off some fish at the CC and even found a catfish in Mayor's trash can. Day 10 gave me the highest so far, 235 energy. I adopted the cat and named it Panda. I have a little panda toy on my desk, so yeah. Spent the day fishing since the spirits were displeased. Dropped off more fish at the CC and ended with 1186 gold. The next day I harvested the green bean. With 202 energy, I finally made some mining progress, down to floor 15 and planted 10 more kale seeds. Day 12 offered just 52 energy. Harvested kale, made another chest, returned Robin's lost axe and planted a cauliflower for Jody. Earnings 1318 gold. Day 14 gave me me 260 energy. Amazing. But the spirits were angry. Mom mailed me cookies and I threw them straight into the shipping bin without hesitation. A crow bit one of my plants, but I didn't have enough food for a scarecrow. Sold kale, dropped veggies at the CC, completed the spring crops bundle. Still went to the mines, but after one floor I realized I should actually listen to the fortune teller. So I left, planted 20 kale seeds and used the rest of the energy collecting wood for a scarecrow. Day 15 gave me 69 energy. Nice number. I earned 1350 gold that day, and yeah, I really shouldn't have planted that many seeds. After watering, I barely had any energy left for mining, which I desperately needed for sprinklers. Day 17 and 18 were both iridium luck days and gave me good energy, so I skipped watering and went straight to the mines. Day 17 I reached floor 25 and day 18 I made it to floor 35. Day 19 gave me 34 energy. My only highlight, I gifted Penny a diamond. Day 20 gave me 261 energy, the highest yet. It was raining, so I caught a shad and an eel, collected copper for sprinklers and dropped off a few things at the CC. The next day I bought a shrimp from the merchant for 500 gold, and with that completed the crab pot bundle. Also found 2 morels on the farm. On day 22 I set up the crab pots from the CC, placed a tapper and planted 25 parsnips for the quality crops bundle. Got 600 gold and a prize ticket from a quest, exchanged it for an orange sapling and planted it. Day 23 was amazing. Iridium luck and 242 energy. Reached floor 45 and started gathering iron. Now that I had access to irons for sprinklers, my next mission was building a coop which needs 300 wood. So day 24 was just pure wood chopping, and by day 25 I had everything for the coop. Also completed Jodie's cauliflower quest. I wasn't sure whether to build a coop or barn, but I went with the coop, and then I remembered I forgot to use basic fertilizers on the parsnips. I am so stupid. But the bundle is still possible. You only need 3 out of the 4 crops. Day 26 mom sent me 500 gold, and finally after so many videos I get to keep the money. If you watched previous challenges, you know what I am talking about. Completed a frozen slime quest for 510 gold and dropped off a bunch of new items at the CC. Day 27 gave me 267 energy and iridium luck. Insane combo. I harvested the parsnips but didn't get a single gold quality one. Instead of pushing deeper into the mines, I decided to gather iron and copper since upgrading my pickaxe mattered more. Collected 48 copper and 31 iron, hit foraging level 5 and chose the forester profession, and that's how the last day of spring rolled in. I gave my pickaxe for upgrade, completed a quest for Jodie, and the coop was finally ready, but Marnie wasn't in her shop, so no animals today. I ended the season collecting wood, smelting ore for sprinklers, and feeling like I actually made some solid progress. Welcome to summer. The season started with 148 energy. I crafted and placed 17 sprinklers right away, then went shopping. Picked up melon, tomato, blueberry, pepper, wheat, radish, poppy, corn and sunflower seeds. The radish seed wasn't needed, so I sold that back. Then I bought 30 more melon and corn seeds for the quality cross bundle. I planted everything, didn't water a single tile and only fertilized the melon and corn. I'd rather save my energy for something useful like collecting wood. The next day all the crops were already watered by the sprinklers. I woke up with 156 energy, grabbed my copper pickaxe and headed straight to the mines. Reached floor 50 and wrapped up the summer foraging bundle. Day 3 with 254 energy, I pushed a little further and reached floor 55. I also finished a slime slaying quest for the mayor and knocked out another quest for Willy, but it wasn't all sunshine because the next morning I woke up with 3 energy. Yeah, 3. And of course, it was an iridium luck day. At least the mayor sent me 500 gold in the mail. Day 5 rolled around with 73 energy. I bought 2 chickens, collected some copper and did another slime slaying quest, which was paying pretty well, 510 gold. Day 6, 5 energy. I bought a few blueberry seeds, planted exactly 1 and finished a dust sprite quest. That alone gave me 720 gold, so honestly worth it. Day 7, 29 energy. And at this point I am genuinely wondering, how am I supposed to make progress like this? I planted more blueberry seeds, used deluxe speed grow on them and only managed to water 4 tiles. The next day finally felt normal, 171 energy. I did some fishing for CC and managed to catch exactly 1 useful fish, tuna. Sold the rest and ended the day with 1352 gold. Day 9 I chose the fruit bats for the cave and also started getting eggs from the coop. Caught tilapia, made 2 mayonnaise machine and started selling mayo. Ended the day with 2156 gold. On day 10 I harvested harvested the sunflower and bought 2 more chickens. Both of mine were brown and I needed at least one white. I also caught a sturgeon, dropped off items at CC, completed the lake fishing bundle, hit fishing level 5 and chose the fisher profession. With 138 energy the next day, I made it down to floor 60 in the mines. Day 12 gave me 244 energy. I planted 10 wheat and 3 melon seeds, upgraded my pickaxe for 5000 gold and used the remaining energy to collect wood. Day 13, back to suffering, 46 energy. I was now getting 4 eggs a day, grabbed a sea urchin from the beach and caught a red snapper while fishing, both needed for CC. I also sold every seed I didn't need and earned 3798 gold, which was decent until I realized mixed seeds and mixed flower seeds sells for 0 gold. Yeah, that one hurt. Day 14 came with 7 energy, but it was green rain, so I'll take it. I harvested melons, kept some for CC and for Penny, sold the rest, and then realized green rain basically shuts down everything. Couldn't gift Penny, couldn't buy seeds, and couldn't get Fiddlehead fund. The last one's not because of the rain, but because I had no energy. Hit farming level 5, chose the tiller profession, and walked away with 6793 gold. Not bad at all. Alright, let's speed things up a bit. Day 15 brought another limitation. I couldn't build a silo, needed 10 clay and I only had 4. I planted more melons and spent the rest of the day mining with my steel pickaxe. Day 16 I bought the fiberglass rod and pufferfish bait from Woolly and finally caught the pufferfish. Day 17 I got a large brown egg plus an apricot and wild plum from the fruit cave. Dropped off items at CC, completing the summer foraging bundle, exotic foraging bundle and ocean fish bundle. Help wanted quests continued quietly in the background. With 141 energy on day 18, I reached floor 70 in the mines. Day 19, I had Robin start building a barn. Day 20, I pushed down to floor 75 and kept earning steady gold from crops. Day 21 brought a thunderstorm, so I placed 7 lightning rods, bought the inventory upgrade and got a pomegranate from the fruit cave. The next day, I harvested the first orange from the tree I planted back in spring. I also reached floor 80 in the mines and started collecting gold, 83 gold ore in one day. That meant quality sprinklers were officially unlocked for fall. Day 23, I bought 2 cows and started cleaning space for those sprinklers. And then this Penny cutscene happened. She gave me a meal she cooked herself, which would have been fine except it gave me energy. Okay guys, it's Penny, so we can forgive her. We're all human beings, mistakes can. I'm just glad I used all my energy before the cutscene triggered. Day 25, I'm sorry, but I had to use the chair glitch. I only wanted the Fiddlehead fern. There were 3 days left in summer. I grabbed it from the secret words and left. That's it. Day 26, I bought a large goat milk and jelly from the traveling merchant, plus an apple sapling from Pierre. Yeah, it's kinda late, but we still have the fruit cave. Day 27 was huge. I harvested a ton of melons and blueberries, the biggest harvest of the season. And just like I said, I also got an apple from the fruit cave. Ended the day with 16,392 gold. That felt amazing. And finally, the last day of summer, I harvested corn and melons, started getting milk from the cows, upgraded my pickaxe for 10,000 gold, painful but worth it, and dropped off some items at the community center, completing the boiler room entirely. We're making really solid progress even with the randomized energy and all these limitations. There are a few items I'm still worried about, but overall we are on track. So let's end summer here and see what fall has waiting for us. Fall is here and it started off strong with 250 energy. I began by buying 1 eggplant seed, 1 pumpkin seed and 1 yam seed. Then I bought 100 more pumpkin seeds and ended up buying 36 more after that. I planted everything, but I quickly realized I'd need even more seeds and more energy. The next day I woke up with 203 energy and went back to buy 68 more pumpkin seeds. It was also Penny's birthday, so I gave her a star drop tea, then a bouquet. Look how cute she looks here. And finally I topped it off with a diamond. Just like that, max hearts with Penny. After that I picked up my gold pickaxe, planted and watered all the new seeds and wrapped up the day. Then during the night, the witch paid a visit and dropped off a void egg. The next morning I placed that void egg into the incubator. I got Robin to start building a silo, picked up a cherry from the fruit cave and completed both the fall foraging bundle and the artisan bundle. On the next day I sold some corn, bought 2 ducks, handed my axe over for an upgrade and made some solid mining progress. I started at floor 80 and died on floor 99. For the first time in this run, spoiler alert, it wouldn't be the last. Still 15 floors of progress. The silo was ready the next day. I bought an apple from the traveling merchant just to be safe, then went back to the mines and died again. floor 98 this time. I was furious while recording this. I don't think I have ever died twice in a row like that before, but hey, first time for everything, I guess. From day 6, I started getting large milk. The next day, I also realized that milking cows costs 4 energy per cow. The traveling merchant was selling a red cabbage seed. Even though it wasn't summer, I bought it since I could plant it in the greenhouse. With red cabbage handled, I was now only really worried about 2 items, truffle and rabbit's foot. I can get a rabbit's foot from rabbits and also killing serpents, so I need to focus on truffles. My current priority became upgrading the barn twice to get a pig. Problem is, I didn't even have enough money for the next upgrade. By the second week of fall, things started moving again. I caught a walleye and a tiger trout, completing the river fish and night fish bundles. I also hit full energy for the first time in the entire run, 270 energy. The void chick hatched, the duck started laying eggs, and I got Robin to start upgrading the barn. I picked up wine from the keg, caught a ghost fish, collected hardwood, and once again, put the cake mom sent straight to the shipping bin. Yeah, that wasn't ethical either. I bought a wet skip from the traveling merchant and then died on floor 98 again. At this point, I was genuinely losing my mind. The main issue was I couldn't heal and I kept prioritizing monster kills to spawn ladders. I also started selling void mayonnaise, made maki roll and fried egg, and harvested 68 pumpkins. The traveling merchant was selling red cabbage, so I bought that too, meaning I no longer need to plant the seed in the greenhouse. After selling the pumpkins to Pierre, I was sitting at 40,661 gold. I replanted everything, and that's how the second week wrapped up. The third week kicked off with a massive pumpkin harvest. I got a purple mushroom from the farm, sold the pumpkins through the shipping bin, and replanted once again. Then I dropped off a ton of items at the community center, completing the entire pantry. I also finished the construction bundle and the dye bundle. I ended that day with 56,209 gold, which is honestly insane considering all the restrictions. Right after that, I completed the vault for 42,500 gold. I got Robin to upgrade my big barn into a deluxe one. I got a sandfish in the desert, and with that finished the fish tank. 4 out of 6 rooms done, only 2 left. I hit farming level 10 and chose the artisan profession. Once the deluxe barn was ready, I bought a pig for 16,000 gold. I could only afford one, but now the only thing left worrying me was the rabbit's foot. Relying on serpents alone felt risky, so I decided to upgrade the coop as well. On the last day of that week, I got Robin to start upgrading the coop. That same day, I hit full energy again. I went mining, but when I ate the star fruit on floor 100, my current energy went up too, which isn't allowed. So I basically had to stop using that energy entirely. Absolutely thriving. During the final week, I accidentally tried to milk my pig. Nobody talks about this. I bought 2 rabbits, which left me with exactly 53 gold. I nearly died in the mines again, leaving floor 115 with literally 1 HP, and then I finally got the skull key. I traded 2 desert totems and entered Skull Cavern with one goal: kill serpents. The game decided to be very generous. I got swarmed from every direction and died within a minute. Yeah, I definitely need life elixirs first. I already had dwarf scrolls 2 and 3. I got scroll 4 twice, but still couldn't find scroll 1, the one with the higher drop rate, of course. On day 27, I harvested 66 pumpkins and earned 32,943 gold, and on the very last day of fall, I harvested an even bigger batch. A huge payday was coming, but here's the problem: my pig still wasn't an adult. I bought it on fall 19. Baby pigs take 10 days to grow, and the last day it was raining, so now truffles are a problem again. My only real hope was the traveling merchant. I repaired the beach bridge using 300 wood so I could buy the mermaid pendant for penny. Then I immediately remembered I still needed the house upgrade. On the bright side, I ended fall with 60,221 gold. Only 16 days left now. Let's see what kind of ending we get. And here begins the final chapter. Just a quick reminder, I can only play up to winter 16 since that's day 100 of this run. Winter day 1 started strong. I completed the field research bundle, the Fodler bundle, and finished the entire crafts room. 5 out of 6 rooms were done. All that was left, a truffle and a rabbit's foot. At this point, I completely shifted my focus to the rabbit's foot, because for truffles, all I could really do was pray to the traveling merchant. But before that, I needed access to the dwarf shop because I desperately desperately needed life elixirs. So I spent the next few days hunting for Dwarf Scroll 1 and finally on day 3 I got it. I turned in all the scrolls, got the Dwarvish translation guide, bought life elixirs and bombs and headed straight to cavern to start slaying as many serpents as possible. The drop rate is just 0.8%, so yeah. This was going to be a grind. The next day, Mr. Cheese sent me 10,000 gold, and on top of that, I got a prismatic shard, so I immediately traded it for the Galaxy Sword, obviously. Day 5 rolled around, which meant Traveling Merchant Day, and just to be clear, I had checked the Traveling Merchant every single Friday and Sunday so far. I hadn't missed a single one. Truffles had appeared only once earlier, but I didn't have the money back then, and honestly, I still regret that. This time though, no truffle again. On day 6, something insane happened. I got an auto petter, yeah, extremely lucky. And don't worry, I was still petting my rabbits manually every day in the background. Sunday came around, so I checked the Traveling Merchant again, still no truffle. At this point, there were only 4 chances left. Winter 12 and 14 as normal Traveling Merchant days, and Winter 15 and 16 at the night market. So there was still a tiny glimpse of hope, and honestly, there's no point stretching this part out. I was just grinding Skull Cavern over and over again. So let's jump into a quick montage. Welcome to day 15, the second last day of the entire challenge, and I still hadn't gotten a single rabbit's foot. I sold all the clothes I got from killing mummies to Pierre. Selling 32 pieces earned me over 21,000 gold. That money went straight into life elixirs and I went right back into Skull Cavern. At night, I teleported to the night market and checked the Traveling Merchant, and yeah, still no truffle. And just like that, the final day arrived. I didn't get a single rabbit's foot from the coop. Guess I should have bought rabbits a little earlier. I spent the last day doing exactly what you would expect back in Skull Cavern, and you won't believe this, I got red cabbage seeds again. It happened twice. Red cabbage seeds have a 0.2% drop chance, literally rarer than a rabbit's foot. I don't know how my luck works, but somehow I always get the difficult items I don't want and never the easy ones I do. So yeah, no rabbit's foot, no truffle. We're officially successfully unsuccessful. Honestly, this challenge isn't impossible. This one's kind of on me. I could have saved enough money earlier to buy the truffle, or I could have bought the pig just 2 days earlier and gotten one naturally. As for the rabbit's foot, I genuinely tried. Okay, take a look at this. I killed 264 serpents and the game still decided I wasn't worthy of a single rabbit's foot. That's just insane. But overall, I'm actually happy how this challenge turned out. We don't always get to win, and that's what makes a challenge a challenge. And before ending the video, I want to ask you guys something. I've been thinking about starting a perfection series where I make a set of 100 days videos, 100 days, 200 days and 300 days. If I can actually reach perfection within 300 days. I've never played a save that long before, so it would be a completely new experience for me. Now I know there are already a lot of videos like this out there. That's why I want to know what you think. Would you be interested in seeing my version of a perfection run? Let me know in the comments below. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, drop a like and consider subscribing because a lot of you still aren't. And I'll see you in the next one.